Guys, this is big, bold action coming from Trump and Elon, who are putting the pressure on Mike Johnson. So Trump wants the impeachments to start over these rogue judges, and it just came out, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, James Blair, said it will be up to Speaker Mike Johnson whether the federal judges who sought to block Trump's administrative executive orders concerning the deportation flights, concerning the ban on men and women's sports, concerning the money being removed from the federal money from these colleges, has to go through Mike Johnson. And right now, Mike Johnson is kind of backing off. This is a big deal, guys. We talked about it. He got the CR bill through. We saw him be crazy last December, but right now Trump and Elon Musk are not happy with Mike Johnson over him not taking the initiative and working towards keeping these judges from disrupting Trump's plan. This is huge. But good news is that our boy Bongino, who now is the deputy of the FBI, Deputy Director of the FBI, came out and said that the FBI investigations have started on the Tesla dealership concerning the cars, lighting them on fire, the Musk protests, all these things. And now we have it that Pam Bondi just came out and said that they have announced charges against 3 of the Tesla arsonists that have been burning up superchargers, burning up Teslas at the Tesla dealerships. This is accountability. Each defendant faces charges carrying a minimum penalty of 5 years and up to 20 years in prison. This is beautiful. This is what we wanted. This is accountability. Just because you don't like political views doesn't mean you get to go burn somebody's cars up. On top of that, the flip side, the Obama-appointed judge who is trying to stop Trump in every fashion with the deportation flights of the gang members literally said, "Assume I will rule against you." The federal judge told Trump's lawyers they should assume he will rule against them if a hearing is scheduled to challenge the president's actions on all the executive orders. Right now, it's not a matter of right or wrong, everybody. It's a matter is, do I like Trump or not? And if I don't like Trump, I will use my power even unethically to stop Trump's plans. But even more good news, guys, because Trump has literally started a huge economic boom for the United States. This is stuff that only I believe Trump could have done. The president of the Congo in Africa wants a deal like Ukraine. So we told Ukraine, hey, you owe us money. We'll come in and fix things, and you let us mine for rare earth minerals to get our $200 billion back. With the beat, $1 billion, $200 billion. Well, the president of Congo said, hey, I want a deal like that. If you come to the Congo and fix things like you're doing in Ukraine, we'll let you mine for rare earth minerals in certain locations that we know are worth over $20 trillion. With a T, everybody. $20 trillion. Trump is a beast. How in the world could anybody pull this off besides Trump? And this is something that now we know they're in talks. So people want us to go fix things in their community, in their country. We've been doing this pretty much for free for years. But now people are saying, hey, come do the things that we can, mine these earth rare minerals, and you get to keep the money. And this guy is saying over $20 trillion, guys. Our debt is $36 trillion. In the next 10 years, we could literally wipe the debt away completely. I just want to say I'm super happy about where things are going. Thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. If you're not subscribed, what the heck you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Let us take care of you with the top news. And thank you so much to everybody who supports the channel through sharing these videos and liking these videos. Guys, that thumbs up means the world to us. It helps us out so much. And thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation, like Elaine Demeen. And thank you to T Heavy Guy for the support in the channel through the membership. Y'all show them some love in the chat. But this is getting big, everybody. The fight to impeach judges will be up to Johnson. Now, Trump is winning right now. And we can't have Johnson slowing us down. Check this out.
It's been a good week for America. Gas prices are plummeting, eggs are cheaper, and gangbangers are being flown to mega prisons in El Salvador. But the biggest wins splashed down in the Gulf of America last night. Trump and Elon brought home astronauts Biden left stranded in the Milky Way.
The astronauts were only supposed to be there for 8 days, and they've been there for almost 10 months. So obviously that doesn't make any sense. SpaceX could have brought the astronauts back after a few months at most, and we made that offer to the Biden administration. It was rejected for political reasons, and that's just a fact.
A billionaire rocket scientist is saving Americans, but Democrats want to blow him up.
On my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone, they've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So, if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off, and take out, just telling you.
Tesla's an American car company, and Tampon wants it to tank.
Wow.
This guy's the governor of Minnesota, and their state pension has millions in Tesla holdings. So if Tesla goes down, so does everyone's retirement. Does Tim not get that? He probably doesn't. Tampon doesn't own land, a house, or stock. He does love China. Tiananmen Tampon honeymoon with the communists. Chinese EVs compete with Tesla. Maybe Kash Patel will find out if he's compromised.
How should Americans view politicians who take pride in the downfall of an American car company?
I think that's quite sad, but I think Governor Walz unfortunately is living a sad existence after his devastating defeat on November 5th.
A couple weeks ago, Democrats were blaming Trump for the stock market going down, and now they're rooting for a crash.
Tesla stock is way down, almost disastrously so. People have been vandalizing Tesla vehicles, new Tesla vehicles. Please don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so,
Man, that's messed up.
Now they're winking and nodding domestic terrorism. Don't torch a Tesla dealership.
That's so bad.
One never-Trumper said, kill Tesla, save the country. Then hackers released the names and addresses of Tesla owners across America. They said they'll take your name off the website if you give them proof you sold your car. Here's the White House.
We certainly think it's despicable, the violence that has taken place against Tesla, the company, its employees, and also just Americans who have chosen to drive an electric vehicle. Many of them are Democrats, by the way. Democrats were big supporters of Tesla and of electric vehicles until Elon Musk decided to vote for Donald Trump. So we would like Democrats to also come out and condemn this heinous violence that we have seen.
Have any Democrats come out and said, stand back and stand by? No, they're cheering it on.
It's so
I thought
sad.
Democrats hated political violence.
This MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
They are threatening political violence, and they are attacking our democracy.
These Republicans and others are creating an environment of political violence. They are putting Americans at risk.
Democrats have never endorsed political violence, but he will go to a rally and he will endorse it. This is the equivalent of playing with a loaded gun and then it backfiring on you.
Maybe Democrats are laying low because they know who's funding the attacks.
You know what I would love to say is, give me an example. What did he say that incited political violence? Because 3 weeks ago, you literally had people that were on the Democratic side saying we need to fight, get in the streets, and make them pay. So, again, this is where you always have the left-wing media who talks about the what-ifs that Trump and them will do. What if they do this and what if this happens? And it's always trying to put fear into people. But then when it comes to the right-wing media and conservatives, and even on this channel, we talk about what is actually happening, what is actually transpiring in people's lives, and that's the truth. The big thing, guys, and I hope this is more clear than anything to a lot of people, that the Democrats always speak of what ifs, and they never speak of what is actually happening.
Funding is one thing we are looking at among many others. I was personally in a meeting about it this morning. We are coming after you. We believe these are organized. These are not individuals out there throughout the country doing this on their own. If you are an organized group who is funding this, we're going to find you too. You better look out and you better stop it.
The Democrats aren't sending their best, mostly peaceful protesters. Daniel Clark Pounder tried to burn down a Tesla charging station, but ended up lighting himself on fire instead. This trans activist was arrested for vandalizing a Tesla service center outside of Chicago. Democrats aren't attacking defense contractors, big pharma, big food, big oil. No, they're after an EV company.
I always thought the left, or the Democrats, were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships, they're just, smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. They basically want to kill me because I'm stopping their fraud. And they want to hurt Tesla because we're stopping this terrible waste and corruption in the government.
Trump's fried Democrats' brains. Now they're pro-violence, pro-fraud, anti-electric car company. They're fighting to keep migrant rapists in our country and praying for a stock market crash. But Elon and Trump probably going to come out on top with a skinnier government and a prosperous nation for all.
Guys, isn't that nuts? And again, too, people need to be held accountable. If you appreciate that, guys, we're actually seeing the exposure of the crazy left-wing activists, hit that thumbs up like button, guys. Appreciate your support. Elizabeth Raincourt, thank you so much for your support. Said the hypocrisy from the Dems is disgusting. It 100% is. And that's why we need Johnson to grow a backbone and impeach these rogue judges, because we know that they're going to keep fighting Trump until they're stopped, until they're put out of office. Because look at this, we literally have where, oh guys, and I got something crazy to show you guys. I might not just wait. I might just go ahead and show you. When I saw this, I said, holy wow. I cannot believe this. But look at this. The Obama appointed judge to Trump says, assume I will rule against you. This is a radical activist judge who was appointed by Obama, whose daughter is involved with helping illegals try to fight and stay here, even though they're illegals. And he said, and he literally told the Trump lawyers that no matter what, assume that I'm coming against you. That's what's going to happen. Because I'm telling you guys, it's all by design. They cannot stand that Trump is winning. They cannot stand that Trump is actually putting America first and exposing their gravy train, and now they're not getting it anymore. And I wanted to show you this because this to me is telling, guys. We're dealing with now that Trump's about to shut down the Department of Education, things are about to get crazy. So I asked Grok. Grok is the AI. They can filter through all this stuff. How many rallies right here or events did President Trump hold in 2024? When you see this, guys, it's gonna blow your mind. How many rallies or events did President Trump hold in 2024? President Trump held approximately 96 rallies during the 2024 election campaign. Now I want to ask you, before I show you, how many rallies or events do you think that CNN did a live broadcast of? CNN did a live broadcast of how many of the rallies and events that Trump did out of the 96, how many of them do you think that they did? All right, now I'm going to show you. How many times did CNN broadcast those rallies? Goes through. Evidence suggests that CNN likely broadcast only one Trump rally in the entire 96. One. And it just so happened to be one of a small town in Butler, Pennsylvania, at the same time that Trump was almost assassinated. Now, you cannot tell me that this is by coincidence. Somebody knew something. There's no other explanation. Out of 96, there's no other explanation that you can logically come to a conclusion that out of 96 rallies, the only one that they do is out of a small town, Butler, Pennsylvania, and it's the one where Trump almost gets assassinated. There is deep state, guys. There is deep state in this. And that's why, as we see what's coming next, we got to be prepared. Trump needs to be protected. So does Elon Musk. Check this out.
This one very historic, what conservatives, Republicans have talked about since Ronald Reagan will take place later this afternoon at the White House. That is the eradication of the Department of Education. We're going to go momentarily to Brian Glenn. We've also got Eli Crane is going to join us. Massive news out of London this morning about the Ukraine situation on looks like no American security guarantee even going to be considered. Ben Harnwell from Rome will be here. Dr. Carol Swain about DOE, all of it, and we're going to go to Wisconsin. So this thing, we're a pack today. Just want to make sure the War Room Posse understands something. Of all the years we've been at this in fighting, and even in the darkest days of the comeback of President Trump after they stole the election, we're in now for the hardest fight, and that's why I wanted to tee up. What you're seeing on MSNBC and somewhat on CNN, but the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Guardian, MSNBC, that is what Democratic activists and people that follow politics, the Democratic Party, are being saturated with constantly. You just got a 4-minute snippet. But the stakes are so high, I wanted to make sure people understood at the end. Rachel Maddow said, people are seriously thinking about fleeing the country. That would be them. As I've said before, there can be no compromise here. One side's going to win and one side's going to lose. We always try to structure this around or frame it around ideas, because ideas have consequences. The unitary executive theory that the President of the United States and the office of the President, doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump or not, has sole authority over the executive branch. And this fight now is not really with Congress, which back when Bush and these guys tried to do a watered down version, it was. This is about judicial supremacy. This is about whether the courts are a co-equal branch or whether the courts are supreme, because right now, the Democrats, having nothing, no political traction, are trying to use the courts to shut down President Trump across the board. This is how little the Democrats have. They're having a cosplay populist. The Hill reports today, as we've been talking about, AOC and Bernie Sanders are going around the country to essentially college campuses, and where they will cosplay populist, having abandoned populism for years, never talked about it, never touched it during the Biden years when they had power. Now they're going to cosplay. They're going to pretend populism, because they understand populism is the future, and they understand Trump heads a populist movement that just had a sweeping victory and is now in the process of doing a 1932 type realignment. They're using the courts, and this is war. It's political warfare.
Yep.
And it's actually, as we had Alex Jones on yesterday, getting quite violent from the Democrats, whether they're burning Tesla dealerships or doxing and intimidating Tesla owners, or whether they're doing swatting and trying to have assassination by cop of leading figures in right-wing media. I'm trying to raise the stakes this morning about the reality of the fight. We got many great people on the front lines who are fighting, but the resources of the other side are pretty immense. In media resources, they're embedded in high culture, in academia, and to wit, the thing in Tempe, I think, is today at Arizona State, and then Saturday is in the Tucson area, but it's near University of Arizona. They're going to college camp. This is the phoniness of AOC and Bernie Sanders. And here's Bernie Sanders being phony. He had 2 shots at Hillary Clinton. 2 shots. Fully financed 2 shots for all the Bernie bros. You didn't lay a glove on her, man. That's the problem. The problem of the country and kind of the backup, the infrastructure and back of the oligarchs you're running around today, it's created by the Clintons. That's supported by the Clintons. That was part of her whole campaign. The credential class and your betters and globalists. You had 2 shots at her, dude. 2, and you didn't lay a glove on. It was a pillow fight. You're a gutless coward. You are. When it comes...
So again, remember, what he just said is we have 2 of the most progressive Democratic representatives in Washington, D.C. right now, AOC and Bernie Sanders, who are now going to run a populist campaign so that they can get more people to vote on the Democratic side. Whoever is running the Democratic Party is probably a Republican, because whatever they're telling them to do is not working, and all it's doing is making them look more worse on their policies every single day. Guys, thank you so much for your support. If you're enjoying this, hit that thumbs up like button. Thank you for doing us that favor. And thank you so much, Andy, for the super chat. Said Tim Walz is a moron because Minnesota State Pension Fund is backed by Tesla stock. Vote him out. Again, remember, he doesn't own a house. He doesn't own land. He doesn't own stocks. Yes, he's a moron.
Down to the tough calls and up in somebody's faces, you always wave off. And you're running around now criticizing President Trump and the MAGA movement with AOC, who's just a celebrity. You're going to run it now, and you're cosplaying. It's cosplay populism. You're going to run around to universities like Arizona State University, Arizona. You're going to go up to the Midwest. You're going to run around to a bunch of universities, close to University of Town. I think you're doing one up in Colorado. Think are they doing Fort Collins in that? Is that Colorado State? Love Colorado State. Love these football programs. We're in March Madness. But it's these college kids that don't know any better.
Yep.
Because they've been formed by the propaganda that's been taught in the grade schools. They eventually snap out of it, but it takes a while to deprogram. This is not populism. You're going to the credential class. You're going to what the executive order today is shutting down. We've got to stop financing the destruction of this country. That's why they're so worked up every night. If you see them, because USAID, EPA, that $20 billion Citicorp. Rachel Maddow started a show last night, 10 minutes. It's so inside her head. She says she can't get her mind out of it. Because this is what's financing Stacey Abrams and everybody. And the great Ed Martin shut it down. USAID, the same thing. Department of Education, this is a money laundering operation back to the credential class. Let's see how they are on their own. Let's see. The world's an efficient market. Let's see how they do. Let's see how they get financed. Let's see how many of these phony programs stick around. They're not financed by your taxpayer dollar. Let's see.
Ooh.
Folks, you think they've been mad before? You wait till this afternoon, because now you've hit the hornet's nest. Every deadbeat professor, every deadbeat hanging out at these college campuses is so much better than you rubes. You watch. When the free lunch is over and they understand they got a long path of like going to work ahead of them, Lord have mercy.
Guys, again, Trump is set to shut down the Department of Education today, and through executive order and through whatnot, Trump is hitting their money. First, it was USAID. They're investigating Act Blue. Now, he's going after the Department of Education because they have brainwashed too many of our kids we literally have our kids that hate America. And they say, well, we had slavery. Well, heck it. Every other country had slavery. But guess who stopped it? We did. We had segregation. Yeah, we stopped it too. Guess what? Other countries had it too. The world changed. Everybody got better. Everybody pushed towards being a better world. But yet these brainwashing professors try to make it seem like socialism and communism are the way to go, and that's not America. And now that they're going to be shutting down the Department of Education, it's going to be putting things back where they should be. Check this out. So Bongino, our boy, he's not a podcaster anymore, shut down his podcast, but came out and said the FBI is investigating attacks on the Tesla dealerships, cars that must protest. They've already got 3 people that they have charged with arson, minimum 5 years in prison. Burning up all this crazy stuff. But this is what I wanted to show you next, guys. If this isn't telling of the signs of the time of where Trump is taking America, the president of Congo officially asked President Trump to help bring peace to the region. In exchange, he is offering a portion of the country's over $20 trillion in minerals, rare earth minerals. That is what I'm talking about. Instead of us just giving money away to all these countries, we're actually going to be able to go in America make more money by doing what we do best. Democracy, bringing in peace. That's what Trump does. Strength through peace. And what I love is that every single day something is coming out, but it's all by design too. Because remember, Trump knows the left-wing media is always going to keep doing what it's doing, but he only has a short, limited time. Check this out.
There's Louisiana Senator John Kennedy. Senator, I don't know. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that Chuck's days may be numbered, just like Jimmy Kimmel.
Sean, I don't hate anybody. That includes Senator Schumer. He's very smart. On the other hand, Chuck's often wrong. He never makes the same mistake twice. He makes it 5 or 6 times just to be sure. But this time he got it right in supporting our efforts to keep government open. Unless a football coach taught you history, you understand that shutting government down never achieves anything. It just scares people, especially the elderly. Mm-hmm. Having said that, many Democrats are angry at Schumer. Among them right now, we've all seen the news. He's about as popular as chlamydia. But that to me says as much about the Democratic Party as it does about Senator Schumer. What it tells me is that the loon wing of the Democratic Party is firmly in control. Now that's great for the Republican Party, but it's bad for America. These people are deeply weird. For example, no honest person whose IQ is above his age doesn't believe that that biological sex doesn't exist, but they do. That's what I mean when I say they're deeply weird. Our Republican secret plan for dealing with the Democrats is called Operation Let Them Speak. But that's good for our party, but it's bad for America. And I think Schumer did the right thing.
You know, I've never been as afraid of government shutdowns because it always ends the same way. They end up opening the government, and people that do get furloughed end up getting, a paid vacation in the end, paid leave. And we never take away essential services. The military keeps defending our country. Social Security checks keep going out. Other essential services, continue. So it never quite it becomes the doom and gloom that people predict it to be. But with that said, I don't think the Democrats had much leverage here. We're still living under the Biden-Harris budget, are we not? This is still their economy, is it not?
Yep.
Well, yes, but we fixed it as best we could. For example, in this particular budget, we added $6 billion for defense spending. We cut $13 billion from non-defense discretionary spending. It's a lesser amount of spending than last year or the year before, but it wasn't our budget. It was the Democrats' budget. And Schumer kept it off the Senate floor. That's the reason we were in this position. Schumer kept it off the Senate floor, so we had to do a CR. I don't mean to sound so geeky here, but that's what happened. This was all Senator Schumer's fault. But as I said, this to me says more about the Democratic Party today than it does about Senator Schumer.
Well, let me ask you, Senator. Do you think he might be deposed? Do you think that he might be challenged? Do you think that somebody might challenge his leadership?
No. That's what's, you've heard me say this before. If it wasn't for double standards in Washington, there wouldn't be any standards at all. Most Democrats in the Senate, supported what Schumer did, and they're scared of him. Whatever Schumer says, generally speaking, they just moo and follow him into the chute like cattle. And I don't think that'll change. I double dog dare one of them to take him on and see what happens. He'll cut him off like a dead stump.
The one thing I'll say is Democrats usually circle the wagons and Republicans create circular firing squads. This is the one time I think roles have reversed, hopefully permanently so. I think Donald Trump had a big part to play in that. Senator Kennedy, we could talk to you all night.
Guys, let me tell you this. If things aren't changing, and man, you don't know how happy I am about what you're about to see on the screen. And guys, I hope you appreciate this content. And if you do, if you don't mind doing us a favor and hitting that thumbs up like button. Right now, they passed it through the lower courts so that illegals, non-citizens could vote in all of New York's local elections. That's why they brought him in. They flew him in. Sorry, they didn't just bring him in. They flew them in to the United States. Millions of illegals. New York's highest court just struck down the New York City law that would let over 800,000 non-citizens vote. Let me tell you this, guys. How many of these states where Trump only won by 20,000 votes? Even 100,000 votes. 800,000 non-citizens being able to vote but was ultimately struck down by the highest court is so important. This is what matters, because if we cannot control and have fair and free elections that are not bought, then we don't have in America. And just want to say thank you so much, guys. My Mr. Norby in the chat, this guy's an OG. He's amazing. He said he's going to give a big donation if we can get to 1,550 likes. We're at 870 right now. So if we get to 1,550 likes, he'll make a donation. Guys, thank you so much, because remember, in 2 days, we're going to be donating to charity live on stream to our charity that we do every single month. Brother, we appreciate you. Guys, let's do it. But the biggest thing now, guys, it's always going to be is we're getting to transparency. Trump is shutting down the Department of Education. Why? Because we've got an education problem. This is from Gallup polls. They surveyed, and 24% of Americans are satisfied with the public education. 73% are dissatisfied. This is why Trump knows we got to change things. We can't keep going like we're going, because we're not going to be able to move forward and make America great again. But what he's also doing, guys, is he's exposing the truth. Because as we dig into a lot of this stuff that's come out, even with these files over John F. Kennedy, things are getting deep. Check this out. Sorry, guys, but doesn't that sound so good? The Gulf of America? Why did Mexico get it? It literally makes no sense. This is North America. I just love it, guys. But what I love too is that every bit of piece of this, the Democrats hate it. Why do they hate it? Why do they hate things being exposed? Why do they hate that the files have been released? It's never been answered. But as we uncover things are moving forward. Today, we get this breaking news that Doge deletes names of 3.2 million individuals aged 120 plus from Social Security records, meaning their numbers cannot be used to actually get money from, because people were using these people who have been deceased for God no telling how long. They were using their Social Security numbers to get money from the federal government illegally. Now they can't do it because those numbers have been purged, and it's about dang time. Andy, thank you so much for the super chat. Said Ukraine is bombing Russia air bases with drones. Time to get rid of Zelensky before he starts World War III. Right now, France is preparing for nuclear war. Guys, the European Union commissioned and said that Europe has to start getting ready to maybe fight a war with Russia. Whatever's happening, it is completely opposite of peace. But people are showing their true colors. Y'all show Andy some love in the chat. And Mr. Norby, who said, this is just a tease, y'all. I bet to see 1,550 likes. Love the True Life News family fun house we have here. Let's get to the bottom of it all and find the truth. Let's go. Y'all show Mr. Norby and Andy some love in the chat. All right, you heard him, guys. We're at over 1,100 likes. Let's get to 1,550 likes on stream. And give some. And Mr. Norby said he'll make some more donations to the charity. I love it. Because no matter what, guys, as we're moving forward and we bring the truth, we're all winning with this. Like, that's what I love the most, is no matter what, the Democrats are going to get mad as they could be. But what matters most is that America's moving forward in the right direction. I love that. Check this out.
We want you to show some of the backbone and strategic brilliance that Mitch McConnell would have in the minority.
Right.
We want you to show fight, and you are not fighting. We are on the front lines, and you are talking about 2026. Democrats should win in 2026, but those Democrats may need to be the people who beat incumbents in primaries for being too passive now. If you want airtime, be disruptive.
I'm going to answer his question. I'm going to answer his question. You're not going to get me upset. They have the right to ask questions. They have the right to ask questions.
Whoa, the knives are out for Crying Chuck because they say he's not a fighter. Yesterday, Nancy called him a surrender monkey, and now House Democrats want his scalp.
I respect Chuck Schumer. I think he's had a great, long-standing career. He's done a lot of great things. But I'm afraid that it may be time for the Senate Democrats to pick new leadership as we move forward.
Schumer's less popular than the Ebola virus. That's what one senior House Democrat told Axios. Behind the scenes, Democrats in the House are holding anti-Schumer vent sessions. And everyone in the party, and not just the lefties, are hissed off. Pocahontas is challenging his leadership. Liz says Schumer was wrong and should have shut down the government. Chuck's been on a media tour to save his job. And after CBS told him no one trusted him, MSNBC strapped him to a chair and humiliated him.
I want to play some of the criticism, again, not from like backseat drivers or not from me on cable news, but people like Hakeem Jeffries or Nancy Pelosi. Take a listen.
Look, Chuck and I disagreed as it relates to the approach and outcome.
I think there is a deep sense of outrage and betrayal. And this is not just about progressive Democrats. This is across the board, the entire party.
I would have liked to see, when Chuck Schumer had leverage here, to say we need A, B, C, and D for the Democratic Party and force the Republicans to meet him halfway on those issues.
I myself don't give away anything for nothing. And I think that's what happened the other day.
They said, okay, he said leverage, I think it was the governor.
And Nancy Pelosi said, I myself don't give away anything for nothing. I think that's what happened
the only leverage we had. They weren't going to negotiate with us. So there were two choices only. It would be nice if we had a third choice.
Nancy's pinned the whole party against Chuck. He's getting pounded behind the scenes, and Congress is leaking he needs to retire or step down. And the Raging Cajun says Schumer's on the clock.
I'm mad at the Democratic Party. I mean, you see, when you lose an election, a party exists for one reason and one reason only, and that is to win the election. We lost. And I do think that Senator Schumer is right. I think he and Leader Jeffers do have a plan in place. And look, if this is not evident here in the next 3 or 4 months, then there will be a uprising within the Democratic Party.
Oh, Schumer's strategy doesn't pay off by July 4th. Carville says he's getting cooed. The last Democrat uprising didn't go so well for the big guy. So we know what they're capable of. So what we have here is a good old Mexican standoff. Chuck says he's not going anywhere, and Democrats say, we'll see about that. And the women hate it when everyone's fighting.
Why don't the Democrats go out there and march and stop fighting with each other? I'm sick of it.
Well, I don't know, Joy, that they're fighting with each other. They're not fighting a unified fight. That is the problem.
The fact that Nancy is now out there criticizing Schumer, stop it already.
You know why she's criticizing him? Because he should have been fighting for that veteran. He should have been fighting for the people of America that are feeling the way that they are feeling.
But that's what I'm saying. Go out and fight for them.
But it's not about, well, he had the opportunity to fight for them. Chuck Schumer caved to the GOP and got nothing. This was actually...
Joy's sticking up for Chuck, and Sonny wants him doged. These ladies are clawing each other's eyes out during Women's History Month. It's just so sad. but it's about to get worse. Bernie Sanders just showed up with some matches and gasoline.
Everyone's beating up on Chuck, and I strongly disagree with them. Strongly. No one is in the caucus more critical of Schumer than I am. But it's not Schumer. It's the caucus. It's not the caucus. It's the Democratic Party. In the Democratic Party, you got a party that is heavily dominated by the billionaire class, run by consultants who are way out of touch with reality. The Democratic Party has virtually no
100%.
grassroots support.
Bernie's saying, no one hates Chuck more than I hate him. As a matter of fact, I'm the only one here that's clean. You're all corrupt. Notice how Bernie speaks truth to power when the Democrats are out of power. But when Joe was running the show, Bernie was a good little boy and said Biden was Einstein and he campaigned for Kamala. The funny thing is, Bernie doesn't have one friend in the Senate. They all think he's nuts, and his crazy ideas are what loses him elections. The question is, who's getting fired?
In sports, you get a draft pick. If the GM, whoever picked the draft pick, if they pick someone that doesn't work out, it's a bust, that person needs to get fired. So who picked Kamala Harris? If it's Obama, if it's Pelosi, if it's Schumer, that person needs to get fired. Then two, Kamala Harris needs to be fired. Why? Because she chose Waltz as a VP.
Well, the only person who can fire Barack is Michelle. Ooh. And that story's still developing. Kamala's in the nosebleeds at the Lakers games. She's been fired and she doesn't even know it. But Schumer and Nancy, that's what you call coup karma. What goes around comes around. It's only a matter of time. Gavin Newsom's hands are clean. That leaves tampon.
This notion of toxicity and masculinity needs to be separated. And I think it's been conflated. And I think we're going to have to work on that a little bit. And I think there is a...
You see this guy? You got the guy who's saying we need to make sure we get toxic masculinity out. And he's over here like being like, it's too much, guys. It's too much. This guy is doing something he shouldn't be doing, and it's wrong. Guys, thank you so much for all your support, guys. Y'all are killing it. We're so close, guys. We only need less than 300 likes on to get to 1550. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button. Guys, y'all are the best. Thank you so much for your support.
I think some of us scare them. I think I scare them a little bit why they spend so much time on it. No, I'm serious, because I can fix a truck. They know I'm not bull.
No one's scared of tampon. We hope he runs. And why does he keep bragging about his manhood? Sounds a little insecure.
All right, here we go. 345 International Motor, no computers, all analog. And this is the cruise control. This thing works on vacuum, pulls, and this is ingenious. This arm is just a chain that slides back and forth inside this arm. And when it's working, works within a couple miles per hour.
I can't fix a truck, but Tyrus can. And he says tampon looks lost. If you have to keep telling me how much of a man you are, maybe you aren't.
Ooh.
Tampon played Madden with AOC, sounded like he'd never coached a game in his life. I've never even seen him throw a football. Have you? We searched the internet all day, couldn't find it. We saw him pheasant hunting, couldn't even load his gun. And the whole afternoon, never even pulled the trigger.
Wow.
And guys usually don't wave with both hands at the same time. Men are calm. That's not tampon. Democrats are out of ideas, so they're just putting on an act. But Hillary says everything Democrats say is a fact. Hillary invented the Russia hoax and then lost to Trump. So all Democrats can learn for her is what not to do. She's selling Ukraine war documentaries right now. How out of touch can you get? Funding a war you can't win is kind of how Democrat donors feel. What are Democrats even fighting for? Well, in a shocking development, Binder nails it.
The Democratic Party needs to figure out who they are and what they are fighting for. And that is so key. I think people in the Democratic Party wants to see a fight. They want to see heart. They want to see that you care. And if we don't do that, if the party doesn't do that, we're not going to make those gains that we want to see happen in the future.
Binder's been watching primetime. Hey, Binder. Love you. Carville's advocating for a strategic retreat.
When George Washington, when the British landed at Long Island, you know what George Washington did? He retreated to Trenton. So to the people who say, we want to fight, great. Fight how? You don't have the votes.
You can't pass gas. That's the consequence of losing an election. All right, get over it, dude.
Have you ever asked 5 people for advice and get 5 different answers? Play possum, run away, collaborate, coup, firebomb. What we haven't heard so far is listen.
We've become a party of people who preach down to others, who scold them, who say, if you don't agree with me, you're not only wrong, but you're a bad person. I mean, I think all of us have heard that attitude from many national Democrats in the past couple years. So I think we need to stop preaching and start listening. Start meeting Americans where they are. Don't take these minority positions on cultural issues and say, hey, if you don't meet this strict liberal litmus test, then you're not even a Democrat.
While Democrats grapple with each other over tactics, Trump's barreling ahead with action because he listened to the voters, had a vision, and executed. Trump's popular because he fights. He doesn't just fight Democrats, he fights for America. Democrats are fighting against Trump, against America, against each other, and not for you. If they just put their ears to the street, wages, education, healthcare, bread and butter, kitchen table issues that have driven Democrat turnout for decades, you hear nothing about it. All you hear is oligarchy. I bet some of these Democrats can't even spell oligarchy. While they're so busy trying to win elections with lawyers, they forgot how to win elections with voters.
Boom.
Now they look like sleazy defense attorneys, defending foreign gangbangers, foreign students, inciting anti-Semitic riots, foreign sex changes, and foreign countries slapping tariffs on products made in America. The Democrats are in trouble. And who do you call to get yourself out of trouble? Usually you call a man. So who are Democrats going to call?
Guys, let me tell you this. It is huge what is happening. Because again, too, remember, everything that Trump is doing has a cascading effect across the world right now. Everything he's doing with America and the tariffs, Ukraine, Russia, Greenland, Canada, Panama Canal, China. He's infecting the entire world right now. Just came out who is reported to be on the brink of collapse due to the withdrawal of the support from the United States. Well, who is giving the World Health Organization the most money? The United States. Who doesn't want to pony up now? The United States. We got this really nice list right here, guys, of the hoaxes over the past 8 to 9 years that have happened because of all the left-wing media. We have the Russian collusion hoax, the Steele dossier. Remember what the Trump called the neo-Nazis fine people hoax. You got the Trump overfed the koi fish in Japan. Trump stored nuclear secrets at Mar-a-Lago. All this whole list right here that you see. It's remember, Twitter doesn't shadow ban. All this stuff, guys, it's all so fake. And this is what makes me go crazy, is because I think about how many people still believe some of this, but they were all proven to be a lie. Thank you so much, Mr. Norby, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, well, I would have given $250 to reach in 1,550 likes, but this may have to do until I see a little more. Thank you all for being givers to the family here. Hey, thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Y'all show Mr. Norby some love in the chat. Yeah, we're only, 128 likes away from 1,550. It could still happen. Guys, if you haven't hit the thumbs up like button, please do so. Thank you so much for your support. What I want to show you next is that when it comes to there's a lot of information going around. What happened with Colombia, what happened with the whole guy who was inciting violence and riots and stuff. Well, we got some more news about this person who literally went to these college campuses, who literally was paid to come to the United States on a student visa to try to incite violence on our college campuses. Listen to this.
Green card so fast? I don't know how this guy got his green card so fast. I'd actually like to find out. Because let me tell you something. I've said this before. My nephew, who's an American, he's the son of my sister, married He went over to teach kids in Korea, like kids, like young teachers will do. And he did that for a couple of years, and he met a Korean woman and he fell in love with her and they got married and they had a baby who had dual citizenship. In any event, they wanted to move back here. So my nephew came back with his son, but his wife, who's a lawyer and married to an American citizen, but not a U.S. citizen, and whose son is an American citizen, but she's not an American citizen. It's been taking her years just to get a green card, never mind American citizenship. And they have nothing like Mahmoud Khalil's very sketchy history, like working for UNRWA, which is an arm of Hamas. She's still having trouble getting the permanent work papers. So something is sketchy about that guy's case, Charlie.
I think we can conjecture why he got his green card so quickly.
Yep.
Is that there are anti-Jewish, anti-Israel forces within the State Department that likely wanted this individual here. Again, we're just hypothesizing, but you're exactly right. I mean, you look at Riley Gaines' husband, who has been trying to get U.S. citizenship and his paperwork all figured out, and it's been a nightmare for quite a while. I mean, we can go through the list. We all have examples of friends and family of people that have tried this, people that are phenomenal and they marry American citizens and they follow the law and they're well educated and they're great patriots, and nope, can't get them a green card or a temporary citizenship or citizenship, whatever status you want. You have to wonder, again, I think a proper investigation is warranted, and Marco Rubio can look at this. Was there a fast track? Was there an accelerated process that was put into place for Mahmoud Kamil because he was trained
right here
as a professional agitator and organizer? Yeah. Now, when we look through the left-wing literature, if you look through the left-wing literature, there's documents such as Good Trouble and many of these organizations. They use a hub and spoke model where they believe that a singular agitator or organizer will be able to mobilize 500 to 1,000 people during a moment of mass protest against quote unquote injustice. We see this in the actual Alinsky literature. This is in their training and their guidebooks. You have to wonder if Mahmoud Khalil was put into Columbia University for the stated purpose of being a professional agitator against the United States and against Israel, and was given a green card for that reason. And was there any suspicion acceleration by the Biden State Department? We don't know. It's worthy to look into, but it would not shock me or surprise me that anti-American forces did this on many college campuses, Megan. What if we were to find out that there were 20 identical type of Mahmoud Khalil, foreign-funded, foreign-trained people that were put on American college campuses, maybe at UCLA or some of these other massive encampments? I saw the UCLA one firsthand, or the one at University of Washington, where they were able to gin up all these well-meaning college kids that have been indoctrinated by their professors. It's worthy to look into, and it also begs a broader and deeper question. How often, if at all, is the American immigration system being used to aid our enemies to create sometimes
chaos,
very quiet or sometimes loud sleeper cells
in America? Like the chaos, guys. That's what they're creating. And I want to show you something too, guys, because this is something that's very deep within my family that we talk about. But I do want to give some love to Mr. Tracy J. Norby, because we made it to 1,550 likes. He honored his word, man. What a guy. Y'all show Mr. Norby some love in the chat, guys. But I want to show you something that is super important to me and my family, is that we believe in family. You know, we believe in my wife. She does a great job in raising our kids and you know, watching them throughout the day, taking care of them. And I believe that, you know, in the 60s and 70s, there was an attack on the family. They wanted to try to disrupt what I believe in, like my faith of what God intended for the man and the woman in raising, you know, a two-parent household, raising your kids. And it really shows that what the colleges have done, what society has done, has really disrupted our families, but also has disrupted just our upbringing. And what you're seeing now in this NBC poll shows exactly that. People that have more traditional values, that have more two-parent household values, things like that, they support Trump. Look at what this poll shows because it's very telling. I'm not saying anything against women having college degrees or anything like that. What I'm saying is that the more that the feministic and those ideologies try to take over, the more that they go against just normal, common sense, traditional values and what Trump is trying to do. Listen to this.
See this. White women with at least a college degree, the only group of white voters that really kind of is on the left politically, aligned with progressive causes, democratic politics. Give you an example here. It's that DEI question, right here that we asked about in our poll. We had two big statements we read to voters. Basically, do you want to continue DEI programs or do you think they should be ended? And again, look at this divide here. White men, no degree, end it. White men with a degree, end it, they say. White women, no degree, end it, they say, by double digits. And then white women with a college degree, completely different by a nearly 40-point margin. They say to continue DEI. See this.
You see, guys, I'm telling you, like, that we see where the hate is coming from. And again, too, more importantly is that we want to make sure that we put our families first. Families matter. Having two parents in the home matter. Having a mom and a dad matter. And that's what we push for. That's what I believe in. But it shows that those that don't essentially believe that, and that's a lot of Caucasian women in colleges, they don't align with Trump. Facts are the facts. Polls are the polls. It is what it is. But I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching, to all of our subscribers, guys, to all of our members, and guys, to everybody that supports our channel. Y'all are the best. We've had an amazing show today. I want to say if you haven't hit that thumbs up like button, please do so. We really appreciate your support. Want to give some love to Mr. Tracy J. Norby in the chat, Andy, T Heavy Guy, Elizabeth Rancor, B1 Sly One, who I'm going to read his. Said, for this month's charity, hit that friends and family. Thank you for all your hard work and hair clay, Joel. Hey, look, I got to get a haircut tomorrow because it's getting a little bit too long, but I do use hair clay. Y'all show Mr. Norby and all of them some love in the chat, guys. It's so great to serve you every day with the top news. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.